Hi, welcome back to Heather's Crochet Corner. In this video here, it should be fairly quick. I just show you how to make pom-poms. Fairly simple. There's many ways to make pom-poms. For me, in my experience making them, had it not been for these little helpful pom-pom makers, my pom-poms weren't always looking as nice and full and rounded. They were looking kind of, I don't know, sort of lackluster, I guess. They weren't as full. It does take quite a bit of yarn, at least wrappings of yarn, to make it nice and full, like this one here. I know some people will have videos using like toilet paper rolls as a means of helping to get like the overall height. Some people have their own templates that they use. But do whatever works for you. If you're able to make them on your own, great. I was not able to. I wasn't quite getting enough windings, so I did pick up these. These are not a free item. These I did pick up. They're made by Clover. They also make like hooks and a lot of yarn fiber supplies and gadgets. So they do come in various sizes. There's a large one and a slightly smaller one. I believe I used the large one to make this size here. So if you want to make one that maybe for like a kid's size hat or more of an accessory or an accent to maybe your scarves or other little yarn projects, maybe use the smaller one depending on what size you're going for. So I'm going to just show you how to use these to make a nice full pom-pom. So let's get started here. I've got my yarn all ready. Let's see, I'll probably just show you on the large one here. You can see it, but these they kind of, I won't say come apart, but they do come apart when you're ready to take the pom-pom out. But they also separate. There's these little notches here that you can sort of separate in halves. And there's some on the other side here. These little tabs here. So what you want to do is open it to start. It doesn't really matter which side you start with, because you're going to be using both sides. So what you're going to be doing is taking your yarn. I've got mine on the yarn spinner here to kind of help. Is you're going to want to wrap your yarn. Try to hold that in place. For now, keep these level. And I'm just leaving a bit of a tail for now. Hope this will work good. We'll see. It's going to be a lot of wrapping. So you're just wrapping the yarn around several times. You're going to want to do all the way across. So again, this might take a bit of time. Hopefully I'm in frame doing this for you. If I can't get this in frame. So I'm just wrapping the yarn, pulling the yarn, just sort of wrapping it. You're going to go all the way around. All the way around. You're going to cover the whole white section, the whole white area underneath the little flange bits. So you're going to want to get all underneath there. It's a bit easier to have a bit of a spindle or some means of having your yarn unwrap easy. Just make it easier on yourself. And even though it's pretty well covered, you do want to get a couple layers worth and just really wrap the yarn. Make sure you're covering the entire area there. Oops. It is a bit tedious, but it's going to be so worth it. You get these nice full pom-poms at the end of it. I have no idea how many times I'm wrapping it. I'm just sort of going by what looks good. I know some people and manufacturers will say to do at least like 100 to like 150 wraps. I think I actually counted that out, and they still weren't quite as full and fluffy looking as that one there. So that wasn't quite enough for me, but that should be good there. It's a few layers worth. And so when you're done wrapping your yarn on this end, I'm going to sort of close it so it stays together. You're going to trim your yarn. You have to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so we're going to continue to grab the yarn, leave yourself a little bit of a tail, and start wrapping it again. Hopefully I'm keeping this in frame for you. Again, my setup I can't really tell. Just wrapping, getting a few layers. Obviously get it around the whole thing at least once before trying to add a bit more. You can even bring it up here, it doesn't really matter. Bring it up there, wrap it around. Just make sure we get some of that extra space in there. Oops. I probably got too much on that in there. Just going to go back around. See where it's a bit thinner. Or I could use a bit more yarn. Just a little bit more on this area here. Alright. Looks good, and when you think you've got enough, you close that end. Okay. Don't worry about the little straggly ends, those we take care of. Okay. And then once you've closed your ends, you're going to take your scissors, and there's a bit, I can't see it now, but I'll show you this one, there's a bit of a area meant for your scissors to fit in to cut. Oops. So that's what we're going to do, is just cut down the center. Keep cutting until there's that. And then we got the other side to do as well. Okay. What you're going to need is another piece of yarn. Okay. right, and then what you're going to do is, now that you've got space in here all the way around, your yarn, I just cut a good sized string, is going to put it through the very center. Okay. Again, don't worry about the little stragglers. Actually, with the stragglers, I'm going to just trim them off now so there's no confusion as to what I'm doing and which yarn is which. So I'm going to just cut these little stragglers so they're a bit shorter, out of the way. Okay. Take my longer yarn piece, again, put it through the center. Okay, just like that. And I'm gonna double knot it. And it goes right through the center, so don't be afraid. It's gonna disappear. And what you're doing is you're tying and securing all of those fibers together. And now that I went one way, I'm gonna bring my yarn through the other side, through the opposite side. This is just my technique. You don't have to follow what I do to secure, but I found this is what works for me. A lot of times when I was making pom-poms a different way, I'd find that my little fibers would not stay together. All right, so we've just put our yarn through the center. We've tied it, put a knot in it, brought up the other side. I've made 2 knots just to make doubly sure that that's gonna secure all these little fibers. So once that's done, you want to leave the tail, because this tail here is what's going to, if you're making a hat, which most cases what's using a pom-pom, is you're going to thread your tail through the top of your hat and then feed it through the inside to secure the pom-pom to the hat. So make sure you leave yourself plenty of room to do that. And don't cut the long bit that you just did. So what we're going to do now to take the pom-pom out and to shape it is to undo these little white pieces. Just flip them out. And you have 2 sides to do. Flip them out. Flip them out. Oops. And then you're going to pull it apart. Okay. The little stragglers, you just toss aside, and this does go back together. You didn't break it, so don't be alarmed. Okay. Then keep your longer pieces separate. Shake out your pom-pom. You can see you got some longer ends to trim. So you just take your scissors and you just follow along the natural rounded edges and just trim off any little ends that seem a little too excessive for you. You just shake it out a few times. Can just sort of present themselves. At the bottom. Shake it out a bit. Alright. Pretty much you get the idea. I mean, that's just, that's how easy it is. Okay. And now you got your pom-pom, you can just shake it out a bit, make sure that you haven't missed any long bits or any uncut bits that may have to be cut in the center. You've got your tail, so you can feed that through a yarn needle, and then you're able to secure this to, you know, atop of a hat or whatever project you decided needs a pom-pom. So that's how you use these Clover pom-pom makers. Again, they come in, well, this pack came in 2 different sizes. We just used the large size, which is usually the typical, I guess, teen to adult size pom-pom. Smaller one would be used for smaller toddler kids or smaller projects maybe. So whether you're using, to decorations, you can hang them upside down. You can use them as, decorations for your hats or maybe blankets or scarves or whatever other creative means you can think of. For me, this is just the easiest way to make a pom-pom that's nice and full, and that just stands up on its own. Because I said I've had issues in the past making them, watching other people. So this is what works best for me. So if you're in my position and your pom-poms aren't looking so full, maybe try these Clover Pompom makers, and that might help you out. That concludes a video for today. Thank you so much for joining me here. Please feel free to share this video on your social media pages. Even if you're watching from YouTube, there should be a section where there's a way to save the tutorial so you can watch it later in case you want to come back. So thanks again. See you in the next one.